Okay, this is episode 4 of Alternative History and Future of the World. Now, what happened in the last episode? It's more of like it's what's going on with the Great Depression. Now, Great Depression is still going on, as in real life it ended around 1939, 1940. It's gonna end around there, probably 1938 in this timeline. So it's gonna be shorter, but it was more devastating. Um, so we have the Russian general being being the Russian president, and a Bulgarian guy, which is less important. It's him. That's here. The name of this Russian president will definitely be mentioned in this episode, so we'll get an official name for him. So we're gonna go and look at the official alliance map. Now we have Japan making an alliance, as I said in the last episode. With Manchuria, and then this this Eastern Chinese country. I don't know what to call them. If there's any ideas, then definitely let me know. Comments or something. I don't really know what the hell to call these countries. Like, I don't know what to call this. I don't know what to call this, and I don't know what to call this. So, yeah. So we have the name of this alliance. There's not really one, but it is a military alliance. We then have then we have an alliance between the France and the UK, which is obvious. Um, don't know. Like this is obvious, as they kind of had one in real life around the time, but that was with Poland. Well, they create it. They create an alliance, military one, and it's gonna get more members in this episode, but that's not right now. Okay, so I believe I got everything besides over here, which is fine. So, okay, now we have a third and final alliance, and this is going to be known as the Eastern Bloc Alliance. Now, right now, it only has 2 members, being Russia and Bulgaria, but it's it's going to get more members, especially in this episode, because a couple countries are definitely eyeing the Russians up now, as well, they know what this dude can do because they seen them work, as they were once a part of Russia, so they're scared. Same as all these Eastern leaders or Eastern countries, but they don't really care that much. It's like they're independent countries now. Kind of like why would you do anything? Um, so that's it for the alliance map. Time to go back to this map. Um, so what's gonna happen first? Going down to South America, we have Brazil kind of getting more aggressive at this point. Brazil's getting more aggressive, specifically at its southern neighbors, and we have the first war of this episode being Brazil up against Paraguay. Now, Paraguay got more, got some of Bolivia's land when they collapsed, but relations between these two weren't really good as at all in recent times, and the Brazilians now invade Paraguay. And how does Argentina respond to this? Well, they're not happy. They're not happy at all. They see Paraguay as a blockade from them and Brazil. That's why they made this puppet state here, so it can be a blockade between them. But when this kind of collapsed, they had no blockade here. So, but it's like you can easily defend this. You can easily defend that. You have your puppet state defending this. So, losing Paraguay would definitely bad. So they start supplying Paraguay heavily because they don't want to lose them. But the Brazilian military has been advanced. It's now stronger, and once um We have this place here encircled, and actually this place is already captured. We have the surrender of Paraguay, and in the peace treaty, in the peace treaty, it's full annexation of Paraguay, so Paraguay does not exist anymore. Good job, Brazil. You expanded. Now, Brazil's done. Brazil's done expanding. Going over to Europe, Germany is starting to have second thoughts about what they did to Russia in the peace treaty, because some of the German military generals seen this dude like on the battlefield, but they weren't able to actually kill him because he's still alive. He was definitely one of the higher targets for the Germans because they knew how strong they were. But when Russia lost the war against Japan, they're like, okay, just chill. But now just in like, what is he doing? There's a lot of tanks he's building up. So we're gonna talk about him in a second. But going down to Bulgaria, this guy is also building up. As these two are planning something as they are in an official alliance together. So it's now 1933, and Russia now makes its intentions clear, as in a speech in his official day of making him dictator of Russia. So Russia has now had a dictator. A couple days later, a dictator is made in Bulgaria. These aren't fascist nations. Like, they're not trying to unite all Russian people, but they're trying to take as much land as possible. So we have two dictators in the world. It's not fascist, but it's still a dictator. In a speech where he announces himself dictator, he says he will destroy the West and bring peace to Europe, as he sees that this is all a corrupt mess. So the Germans are now like, well, they're gonna come for us, so we gotta start making good relations with France and the UK. And relations are now being built up from France and the UK with Germany. And same with Italy. Like, these guys are all kind of becoming good friends now since they have a common enemy, which is now Russia. Over in Ottoman Empire, nothing much is really happening here. They're having more unstable places where, particularly where the Saudis live, so like around the border. They're gonna talk with Saudi Arabia and be like, "Yo, can you send send your military, but not like in a military invasion, but to escort these guys out of my country?" And so that's currently being worked on. Not using the military is a little bit advanced, but as people have homes down there, it's not something they want to leave, but they don't want to live in the Ottoman Empire. So that might be important in World War II, or it may not be. So in terms of the Chinese provinces, we have this one being pro-Japanese, but these two being pro-Russian. So going over to the alliance map, we now have Xinjiang joining in on Russia's alliance, and over in Brazil, they also join Russia's alliance in the Eastern Bloc alliance. And I actually need to do this. So, in the Eastern Bloc alliance, against two new members, this is like a minor state, but they still, like, Manchuria is happy with the land they have, but there's still a few Manchurias, particularly in that region right there, particularly right here. So they're like, why not try to unite them all? So technically fascist, but not really. You don't really have to be fascist. Like, this is a monarchy. This is like a democracy, meaning into fascism. Or not fascism, but dictatorism. So it's not really a dictate. It's not fascist, but it's definitely more of leaning towards it. It's not fascist. I guess the most fascist country would be Bulgaria, because they lost a lot of Bulgarian people. So I guess they would be fascist, I guess. Um, so what about the rest of the world? China is crying as they only have a little bit of coast, and that can easily be cut off in the war. So they might align with Russia, as I mean they still do, but they aren't looking to join any alliances right now. But they might join the Eastern Bloc alliance. Um, Tibet is gonna join the Allies as they were Allied leaning. I forgot to color this. Um, so now officially in 1935 we have Italy joining the alliance, and Germany's soon to join. Soon to join will be Germany, but we have call these. So now what? The Allies are getting bigger. The Eastern Bloc is getting bigger. Japan's alliance is just fine. Um, there's not gonna be many wars in this episode because this is just a build up. Um, but we'll you know what, we'll say these two unite as Montenegro's having a tough time, so Montenegro's gone. We'll say that they unite under economic reasons. It would just be more beneficial if they were together. Uh, Albania is kind of eyeing up this place right here, but Italy kind of claims over Albania. So don't know how that goes. Greece is looking to join the Allies as they border mainly a fascist leader, as they lost all the Bulgarian people. As I said before, they're kind of fascist, but also not really. So Russia's gonna Russia's gonna go silent, and and French intelligence now confirm how many troops that Russia has, and it's 2.5 million active troops and 4 million in reserve troops. So they have 6.5 million troops that will be used probably in World War One. The Allies are baffled how this is possible, and over in Eastern Europe we have the Russians and Belarusian country merge, kind of like how Anschluss happened in 1938 in our timeline. This is technically like that, but now Germany is like, okay, yo, guys, Russia now borders Poland, my vassal state, and I can't have that. So let me join the alliance, like please. They're like let us think about it a little bit more. So going back, so on the alliance map, Russia now borders Poland, which is not good, as Germany did not want Russia bordering Poland. That's why they made the Belarusian country. I guess Belarus. Let's call it Belarus, but I don't know if it would be called Belarus. Um, Germany's gonna be like, yo, get me in this alliance. Thank you. Same as Poland, so they're my vassal. So, and now we have Galicia joining, and we have another country joining the Eastern Bloc, and that's Romania. Now, there's a pro-Russian leader in Romania, as last episode said. Now, the reason for Bulgaria is like kind of not really happy. It's just Bulgarian people, but maybe they can figure out a deal since they're in the same alliance. But um, the world is picking sides at this point. China is now going to join the Eastern Bloc alliance as they have no reason not to, as they already sided with Russia, and they have been. And oh, Mongolia. Oh, hold on. Oh, Mongolia, you are stuck between three Eastern Bloc nations. So, oh, you're not gonna have a fun time. So, oh wow, okay. So in order for Russia and China to trade, they decide to invade Mongolia so they can trade. And I don't really have to explain how this war is gonna go, as Mongolia definitely cannot fight a war in this timeline, as they probably didn't have a military in this time. Um, yeah, this is pretty obvious who's gonna win, and yeah, so Mongolia surrenders. And peace treaty. Alright, in the peace treaty, Mongolia gets partitioned between three of its neighbors. Japan is very not happy with this, as they were looking to get Mongolia into the alliance, but they couldn't really do anything without allied help, and allies don't really want to fight a war right now. So how about we just we'll just let them take it, whatever. So Russia is now going expansionist as usual, and so now the Russian military is going to be moved into the Ukrainian border, and we can uncolor those two. So Russian troops are now on the Ukrainian border, and wrong color. There you go. So Russia invades Ukraine, as they don't see Ukraine as a actual sovereign nation, and this is going to frighten the West. And it's around 1938, 1939. So Ukrainian troops, oh my god, Russian troops enter the country, and particularly from the east and around here as well, but this less. Ukrainian military is not equipped to fight a war. They didn't really fight the they didn't really build up on the military, but now we have the allies saying, "Yo, let's go figure out a deal in uh actually I don't think they have the city in Sevastopol. Let's go figure out a deal so you can stop expanding, and we can go back to being normal." So a meeting of Sevastopol. I was gonna do Lviv, but I don't think they have Lviv. Lviv's over here, I think. So we'll do Sevastopol. And how does the meeting go? It goes absolute horribly. It's no deal is set. The Russian president threatens all of them, which his official name is Alexander Volkov. So Alexander Volkov threatens the rest, saying, "You guys are a whole bunch of incompetent countries, and I will bring peace to your countries." And this upsets the allies, as they tried to sort out a good deal, but it's obvious it didn't work. So as the allies leave Ukraine, they fund Ukraine as much as they can, but it doesn't work, as Kiev falls immediately, and its country split in two, actually split in three, because this is actually taken, and it's basically over. And actually now we have Romania joining in on the war on the side of Russia for one color for more um Black Sea coast. So Romania's push in, and we have Ukraine following. All right. So in the peace treaty, we have Ukraine getting petitioned between Romania and um, Russia. Now, Russia at this point looks very similar to the Soviet Union during our timeline. I'm just looking at it now. It looks very similar, actually. So now it's 1939. The Russians are eyeing up Europe, specifically Poland, the Baltic states, and less of Finland because Finland is rampantly making its military known. Like Finland is not like Finland's in the top 12 powers, so they see the expansionist Russia, and they're not having it, not happening. Um, Sweden is also kind of aiding Finland in building up their military as a Russian invasion of Europe looks imminent to Sweden and Finland. They're warning the allies, but the allies don't want to listen, as invading the whole continent does not like that seems impossible. Like how could they do that? That seems ridiculous. Um. So a year later, it's 1940, and Russian troops now plan a invasion of Poland. Now this is obviously like so now Russian troops enter Poland as Russia doesn't think Germany will actually do anything, as like why would they? Like they're just gonna sit down, watch a puppet state go down. Germany's not having it. Germany's like, Russia, get out of my vassal. What are you doing? You have 10 days to leave. You have 10 days to leave, and if not, we're declaring war. The the entire alliance declaring war on you. Russia says nuh-uh, and they keep invading. So the Russian president Alexander Volkov doesn't think they're gonna do anything, but as it gets to this, the 10-day grace period is up, and that's not good. And incorporate the entire alliance. Okay, so yeah, World War II started. This is now World War II. It is now happening, and next episode will be World War II, and judging by the map, and how strong the Russians are, because Russia's military has gone from being, because if you remember at the end of World War One, they went down to the seventh strongest power, but now they're the second strongest power. Only being the strongest is probably the UK. If I had to do top 5, UK, Russia, United States, Germany, and do I say India is? I mean, technically yes, but also technically no. Then it'll just we'll say the 5th strongest power goes to Brazil. So also we have Bulgaria joining the war immediately, and they're kind of landlocked right now, so there's not much they can really do unless you invaded a certain country. Anyway, so that's how World War II starts, an invasion of Poland. Who would have guessed it? I'm forgetting a country here. There we go. Yep, that's it. World War II has started, and won't do World War II today. That's for next week. I don't like. I know how the war's gonna end. I know how the world will look like after World War II, But in terms of how World War II is fought, I still need to figure that out. It's gonna plunge the world into a state of war, that's for sure. So that's it. That's the episode. World War II. This next episode, episode 5, and then probably during the 6th episode, I will probably do. I don't know how the World War II piece will go. Because the World War II recording is probably gonna be over an hour, probably at least an hour and 15 minutes. So once again, they'll be fighting on each continent. They'll be fighting in Africa. They'll be fighting in Asia. They'll be fighting everywhere. But yeah, this is definitely not good. And that's it. That's the episode.